there was hardly any career ambition at all. We knew that there was no way we could be the biggest band in the world.
And then it was just, we went multi-platinum, and then there was a time where you couldn't even buy Nevermind.
That even when we had a gold record, we were still in a van.
I remember seeing them live in San Francisco, and they were so fucking good.
I guess everybody who's into music, and particularly alternative music, will always remember where they were when they first heard Nevermind.
It's considered one of the greatest albums of all time, and it sold more than 30 million copies.
Why did you entitle the album Nevermind?
I don't know. So I could brush off the question.
Along with the commercial success of the record, it introduced the world to the heavy-handed, commanding drum sound of Dave Grohl. And although Dave's drumming received a lot of criticism in the early days, especially in drum magazines, his drum parts would become legendary, and now they're celebrated in the rock world by drummers everywhere. It was a huge hit worldwide, and it paved the way for the mainstream breakthrough of grunge and alternative music in the early 90s. So in this video, we're going to be diving deep into the drum parts of Nevermind, and I'm going to show you some of the best parts from every single song on the album. And throughout the video, you're also going to hear me using the original tracks with the drum parts removed, which you have access to inside of Drumeo. This is Nevermind by Nirvana. Let's dive in. So the album opens with the biggest hit on the record, which I know all of you know, and that Smells Like Teen Spirit. Dave brings the song in with a massive drum intro that sounds like this. The song features a driving chorus groove, which features some syncopated kick and snare parts, all while maintaining quarter notes in the right hand. Then at the end of the chorus, Dave plays one of my favorite drum parts on the entire album. The second track from the record is In Bloom, which was actually the fourth and final single from Nevermind. This and several other songs on the album were originally recorded by Butch Vig in 1990 on what was to be the band's second album on the Sub Pop label. But the whole session was ultimately scrapped after the departure of then drummer Chad Channing.
Guess what Chad's responsible for? If you listen to a song like In Bloom, that's Chad.
This song starts with a pretty heavy intro part, which is a classic in the drum world. Here's what Dave plays on the studio version. Later on, Dave plays a heavy and syncopated chorus groove, ending with some iconic triplet fills. So these parts aren't easy to play, especially if you're newer to playing drums. So right now I want to show you a little bit of how I would practice these using Drumeo. All right, so right here I have Smells Like Teen Spirit loaded up inside of Drumeo, and I've got the drumless option and I have the full track option. So right now I'm going to click on drumless, and you can see I have the full transcription, note for note, what Dave Grohl actually played on the song. So if I want to start right where the actual drum groove comes in at the beginning, I can hit play. And let's say I wanted to actually practice that with a metronome. I could go up to the top and I could turn the metronome on and play the drumless track. And if you wanted to just loop one of those sections, let's say you're really just working on this first bar right here and you want to get this really sitting in time, I could just loop that bar over and over. And let's say you've been practicing this for a while, I can actually go back to the original recording and I can do the same thing. So right now I can play with the whole song. Or even slow it down if that's a little bit too fast. So there's just a few ways that you can use the practice tools inside of Drumeo. We have every song on Nevermind transcribed for you, exactly what Dave Grohl plays. So you can follow along, you can practice with the songs, and if you want to check all this out, you can get started with a 7-day free trial by clicking the link right below this video. The next song is Come As You Are, which was the second single off of the album. The release of this song and the subsequent music video inspired by the album's artwork only continued to propel Nirvana's mainstream success. Following Kurt Cobain's death, his hometown of Aberdeen, Washington actually chose to use this song title on their welcome sign as a tribute to Kurt. The drumming in this one features another one of Dave Grohl's signature heavy-handed quarter note driven grooves. Here's an example from the pre-chorus. Breed was originally recorded in the Butch Vig Smart Sessions with the working title Imodium. This is another example of a song where Dave stuck to the core part originally written by Chad Channing. This one features another quarter note driven hi-hat groove in the verse with a simple ghost note thrown in at the end of each bar. Dave also uses flams and extra crashes in the heavy but still syncopated chorus.
Candles in our days, 'cause I found God.
The next track, Lithium, was another one that was recorded on the Sub Pop studio session with the band's earlier drummer Chad Channing, which ultimately wasn't used on the official album. Now, on the studio version, Dave Grohl plays a simple 8th note cross-stick groove in the verse, and then a commanding fill into the chorus. He then uses some syncopated flams to create an interesting bridge groove.
Think I should get off the first. Think she wants some water to put out the blowtorch. Isn't me having seen little clip, dirty lanes.
So in this video, we're talking all about the drum parts on Nevermind, but we can't forget about the song Polly, which is actually the only song that has Chad Channing's original part. And all that's used on the track are 4 sparse cymbal hits. But because there's no drums on this one, let's move ahead to the next track, which is quite the opposite of what you hear on Polly. Territorial Pissings is the next song on the record, and in the early 90s, this was the song that the band typically ended their sets with, where they would destroy their instruments on stage. This one features a quick and driving 8th note groove with a dense kick drum part. The groove continues into the chorus, but Dave moves to the crash cymbal and adds some more subtle but difficult kick and snare hits.
One baby to another says I'm lucky to meet you. I don't care what you think, this is about me.
Next up, we have the song Drain You, which is hailed by many as one of the poppiest and most well-constructed songs on the album. It features more of Dave Grohl's heavy-handed, relentlessly driving grooves, like this one you hear right at the beginning of the song. Then Dave builds from the bridge to the end of the song, first on the floor tom with some cymbal crashes like this. This next song allegedly got its title from the bass solo at the top of the song. Rumor has it Chris and Kurt thought the solo sounded like lounge music, hence the title Lounge Act. The song features a fairly straightforward drum part until the third chorus, where Dave throws in some offbeat crashes and quick snare fills to make the part a bit busier. He then uses some syncopated crashes and triplet fills to end out the song. The song Stay Away is another instance of Dave Grohl adapting Chad Channing's original drum parts. Dave starts with an accented snare drum roll, then moves into an eighth note tom groove in the first verse, and it makes a lot of sense why Dave holds down a steady groove like this, since the guitar parts happening in the verse are quite a bit busier. And then at the end of the song, the band kind of trails off as Dave Grohl plays a triplet bass drum solo. On a Plane was one of several songs recorded in a demo session prior to recording Nevermind, and it was actually one of the first songs ever recorded with Dave Grohl as the drummer. The chorus groove features not only a heavy quarter note groove like we've seen a lot on this album, but also some interspersed tom fills and 16th notes in the bass drum part. Then in the bridge, Dave alternates between syncopated flams and a quarter note groove to follow the guitar and bass tracks. The entire track features a very simple and slow eighth note groove, but Dave does throw in some fills at various points in the song. And the end of each chorus also features a 2/4 bar going into a sustained guitar chord. Endless Nameless was a hidden track on the physical copies of the album, beginning about 10 minutes after the end of Something in the Way. In the Nevermind studio sessions, the recording of this song came directly after a failed attempt of recording what would later become Lithium. Butch Vig said Kurt was incredibly frustrated, and he actually ended up smashing his guitar during the recording. This halted the recording for the day, as it was the only left-handed guitar available to the band. Dave starts this one with steady 8th notes on the kicks with 2 16th notes on the snare drum midway through the bar. Then the very end of the song features an epic triplet bass drum solo. All right, there you have it, the drumming of Nevermind. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the drum parts on the album, and I hope you take some of these parts to your kit and try them out for yourself. Now, the best part is we have the entire album transcribed for you on Drumeo and all the original tracks with the drums removed so that you can be the drummer on the track and play exactly what Dave and Chad played on the album. Lastly, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit those like and subscribe buttons, and let me know down in the comments which track from Nevermind was your favorite. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.